Hey, Steady Steve, please like and subscribe. This is my tennis tips, I guess, betting tips. Spent a lot of time kind of studying the form and following the players, especially tennis players and cricket. Do some amazing things today on the cricket. Should have done a video. We'll do more cricket related videos. Also, England came through for me this morning versus the West Indies, which made me quite happy. That's England cricket, not to be confused with England football team. So please like, subscribe. Please click on the Deck Heroes icon. Click on subscribe. Completely free. Blood in, blood out. Right, so my first selection, and an aside though, before I go into the selections, is it is Wimbledon. I believe it is next week. It's going to be Wimbledon. I think it's next week. So with that in mind, some of these players will be saving themselves for Wimbledon, and they may well have some unexpected losses. Okay, so one of the things is if you're just going to watch it and enjoy, then that's probably the best way to go about it, because there is an element of risk. But if you are going to go in and you need to get out, for example, you want to trade out from wherever you've gone in, probably Betfair is going to be the more honest way, the cheapest way to do it, basically. Anyway, so my first selection, all things considered, is Alexander Zverev versus Arthur. I think it's Artur Fils. There's just levels. There's levels. Somehow, Artur Fils, you look at the age, 2004 to 1997. Fils, the guy on the left, to be fair, he's very early in his career. He's got a good serve. He's got good ground strokes, but they're not exceptional. My man here, Alexander Zverev, is just purring. Honestly, it's just about timing. You can say form, but in tennis, it's all about time, and he's just doing all things right. And I feel like he knows that he is. I'm pretty sure that he is, and it's easy to see. What I would mean is, you got to play. He does not make a lot of unforced errors. His serve is one of the best in the game anyway. Better than Fils. Ground strokes better than Fils. Experience in the game better than Fils, or more than Fils. Everything is better than Fils. Artur Fils, and that's the facts. And also, he's playing in Germany, and he's German. I would think for him, he would see this as a warm up. He seems fresh. I think he does suffer from diabetes, so that is one of those things that can affect him in a game. And I do recommend, if you're going to put some money on anybody, on any of these selections, on any day, that you actually do it in a way where you can watch what goes on or follow the score, what's going on. Number one, so if you are on Betfair, that you can get out, but also that you can have an idea of form of the players if you can watch it. But I'm very confident in this selection. The only aside is Wimbledon next week, that he might want to save himself from Wimbledon. And if it wasn't in Germany, I'd be more kind of worried about that. There's two main ATP, meaning male tennis tour events. There's one that's in London, that's not Wimbledon. It's called Queen's. And there's this one in Halle. My man here, Zverev, chose Halle. In the commentary, they did mention that one of the reasons why is because the hotel is just literally across the road from the stadium, so they can focus without the distractions. I live in London, right, in terms of the Queen's event. You may well be able to get close, but not overly close, and there's all the distractions of London. You know what I mean? So are you going there to eat out and enjoy the city, or are you going there to prepare yourself for this major tournament? I'm not saying everybody goes to Queen's. It's just there just for the high life and seeing their friends and enjoying themselves. But some of them will be. But anybody that goes to Germany and is just going between the hotel and the court is focused. And that's what we've got with Zverev. If we look at recent form, I say I'll watch some of these games. I didn't watch them all, but I watched some of them. And look at Zverev on the right first. Win. He lost to Alcaraz in the final on clay. And that's not the awful. That's not an awful result. And he lost 3-2. So it wasn't like he got blown away. But I saw him blow Otto away, who's a lower ranked player. I saw him blow Sonego away, and that was today, who's a lower ranked player. Sonego's not an awful tennis grass player of tennis, but he's going to be more of a clay court player because he's Italian, and that's what they grow up on clay more so than grass. But Zverev was so solid, so solid. You look at the prices here: 1.3, 1.29. This is Betfair is 1.3. I think that's good price. My philosophy and my strategy going forwards is always about, listen, just worry about who's going to win. Okay, and if it's a fair price, which I think this is for this, just take your winnings. You know what I mean? Don't get carried away. I'm not saying put £1 million on it or something like that. Just something you can afford to lose always. Something which keeps it fun and that you can afford to lose. That's where you want to go with this. We look at fees. Fees is just a limited player. Let's just summarise. Look at these on the challenge. Look at the bottom working up. Rome, he lost in the second round. Then it's the challenger level. Challengers below the main ATP level tennis. Okay, and he won that final. Congratulations. But we go to the French Open main tour. He lost to Arnaud. Horton-Bosch, Big Cazot, who's lower ranked. Then he lost to Humbert and Horton-Bosch. Got a couple of wins in Halle, but listen, there's nobody on the level of Zverev. Strong suggestion. Make your own mind. I'm not guaranteeing, but strong suggestion that Zverev is going to beat Fils at Hoppes 1 in Halle. The next one, Yannick Sinner at 3 o'clock in Halle versus Struff. I ain't going to go into the same level of detail. Sinner is infinitely better than Struff. I would be slightly more worried that Sinner will be thinking about Wimbledon and not want to get drawn out in a different country late in the week and then travel to London and then kind of get settled and prepared. As I say, this is a worry for all of them, right? But it's going to be less so for Zverev when he's in his home country. Now, it's slightly complicated with Sinner because I think he's from, don't quote me on this, but I believe he's from just a part of Italy which is very close to, it's either the Austrian border or the German border. So what I'm saying is there's a chance, and I don't know, that he speaks German, and he maybe is just slightly more comfortable in Germany, just to summarise. But that's a slightly more risky one. But if he's on his game, Sinner is going to destroy Struff with just 2 levels of player. You can see there where it says the 2, that's the row that we're looking at. Let's try and get it on the same screen. Yeah, 1.29 is Sinner and 3.51 if you look towards the right, upper middle right. If you look on the same row as Sinner and Struff, 1.29 is the odds for Sinner to win, 3.51 Struff. It's very easy that Sinner could just destroy Struff, and that would be like, oh my gosh, I wish I got in. But again, that's worrying about Wimbledon. I do have to mention Zhang against Eubanks at 5:30 in Halle. Zhang, for me, is infinitely better than Eubanks. I watched Eubanks defeat Bublik being a very talented but erratic player. But you look at Eubanks, he lost to Zverev, fair enough. He lost to Ijaka, he lost to Van der Schlup, lost to Galan, lost to Atmani, lost to Griekspoor, lost to Sinner, lost to Nakashima. When I watched him against Bublik, he wasn't timing it that badly, but it just seemed like it could all just go house of cards any moment. And if Bublik had the consistency, he would have won that. And I think he was getting frustrated knowing the level of play he was up against. But of course he lost because he is also a poor player in his own way, even though he's got talent, meaning that he just lacks the discipline and consistency. And Bublik lost, and congratulations to Eubanks, he won against the odds. But I don't think he's going to beat Zhang. Look at Zhang's beat Manarino, so what? Sheldon's quite high ranked. Just quickly look at Sheldon's ranking. Somehow ranked 14. He's meant to be more or less on the level of Fils. I think Fils is ranked about 20. Don't quote me. Sheldon was basic as well. But anyway, he beat Sheldon. Monteiro, basic. Tabilo, basic. I'm talking about in terms of the game on grass. Vucic, basic. Senego, not awful, but still beat him. Tsitsipas, no shame losing to Tsitsipas. Kopfer, I don't know about Kopfer. Ofner, I think he's a lower ranked player, but I did watch Zhang beat Medvedev. Just very solid, very quick. He's like ridiculously quick, and he's got a very, very strong grass court like baseline game. So the way I see this one panning out, I'm not guaranteeing I'm going to go on it, but I might do just because those are quite high odds, and I think there's a decent chance. Just for a dabble, not for like losing the earth or risking the earth. I see this as Eubanks is just it's got a strongish serve at times, even though it's obviously not fail safe. And on a quick court like a grass court, he may well pick up a few quick points, but he will also give away more points than he ever did in that game against Bublik. And I say he did do a lot of swinging and just catching lines as consistency. I think it was just his day. But they do say if you do as a professional, you keep on catching the lines, and that's because you've trained yourself to do it, but it just didn't come across even if you did. You'll notice that Zhang is ranked 42, whilst Eubanks is ranked 44. You'll also notice that, okay, Eubanks is only slightly taller. I was expecting him to be much taller. He's only about 8 centimeters, which is, what's that, about 3-4 foot. So, okay, fair enough. Interesting that Zhang's actually heavier, 87 kilograms. The way I see it is the consistency and the speed of Zhang, and they never played each other before, of Zhang will just be too much for Eubanks. I don't think they're going to be worried about they'll have Wimbledon on the mind, but this is a chance to win an ATP event, and they're in the quarterfinals. So they've got quarterfinal, semi-final, final, 3 matches away from a potential ATP trophy. So yes, they will want to go to Wimbledon. Wimbledon will pay a ton of money, but they will also want to win this, and then also go to that. I think if there's any way, more so the top players are not going to be bothered by the small pot of money and this relatively insignificant title, more so than trying to go deep and trying to win Wimbledon. Zhang is my selection for this one. Definite interesting one. A very interesting and very strong possibility to get it across the line. I'll try and be quicker. To summarise, the difference between Thompson is actually, I watched him. I think Fritz is going to win, basically, against Thompson at the Queen's Club at 1 o'clock UK time. Thompson is no mug, especially on grass. He had It's okay, so no, I take that back. I get confused with a British guy. Anyway, so I think Fritz should have way too much for Thompson. Look at Thompson's records. Just very quickly going from the bottom up, he beat Kovacevic. Lost to TFO, there's no shame in that, but he lost 2-0. Beat Munar, lost to Rude, no shame. Kotov. Okay, Monteiro. It's about the same level as this guy Thompson, really. Mortara, Raonic. Got to bear in mind Raonic is on the comeback, and I did see Raonic play very well. He's got amazing serve and got very good and aggressive ground strokes as well, trying to win the game as quickly as possible, and he has talent to either get that or to go very close. So there's no shame in that, but there must have been a withdrawal from Murray in the Queen's Club, and he had a decent win against Rune. He's not going to beat Fritz if Fritz wants to remain in this tournament towards the end. But the difference is Fritz is in London. You know what I mean? So despite what I said earlier, he may feel that since he's already in London, he doesn't have to travel, he's already settled, he can treat these games almost like a warm-up, as long as, if he's got any kind of injury worries, of course, listen, he'll lose or he'll pull out. More likely lose, so he can still take the money for the match, you know what I mean? But look at the head-to-heads as well. Fritz should win this. And Fritz is a very strong player. in serving and in ground strokes. I'm surprised he's not higher than 12. I'd expect him to be around about 7, 6, 7, 8, something like that. 6, 7. Yeah, I would definitely recommend. I think that Fritz is going to win that one. I'm going to go past Harris and Musetti, Jack Draper and Tommy Paul. Jack Draper is absolutely on fire right now. I saw him destroy. I watched him win the final. In Stuttgart, beat a very good Berrettini, and it was a kind of a little kind of razor wire between the two of them, but he was strong enough, and I feel like that win gave him a lot of confidence. So he not only won the match, but he won the event in Stuttgart. He's in Queen's Club. He's British. He's playing to a home crowd. He's going to want to win. He's going to want to go deep in this tournament. Back-to-back tournaments would be great. He's going to want to keep that momentum going. He's going to want to beat Paul. There's nothing wrong with Paul, but you've got to look at this form. Bottom up again. He had a very good win against Medvedev. I don't know what form Medvedev must have been in at the time, because Medvedev is 10 times the player that Paul is. But he did back that up with a win against Hurkacz as well. Fair enough. Jerry, in and out form. Kashan, don't worry about it. Fognini, oh my gosh. Fognini. I've got to have a little quick aside on Fognini. Fognini's just one of those enigma kind of players who just... He's from Italy, and he's got that kind of Latin temperament and zero consistency. I actually watched, and he was in is it Sassuolo Challenger event? So you think, oh, he's in Italy, he may play for the crowd. He was a breakup in the first set, and then he lost every other game in that first set, and then I think he lost the second set. I only watched the result for the second set, not the game, but I did watch the first set. The second set, he lost 6-1 or 6-2. So he's just one of those guys who just throw a game away just because he's a touch player. He's a feel player. He has to feel confident and feel that he's getting the shots in and things are going his way, or he's just going to, So anyway, Paul beat Fognini. There's not really too much into that. Cerundolo, he lost that one. Beat Papirin. No shame in losing the quarter. Quarter's in some very good form. But on grass at the Queen's Club, he did beat Bates and Tabilo. He's not going to beat Draper. This price here is oh my gosh, that's a beautiful price, and all the motivation in the world is on you, Jack Draper. I do think that might be it. I'm not going to go into the others. So my strong recommendation, all things considered, home crowd and just talent gap. Zverev. Sinner should win. He's in the wrong country though. It's not his home crowd. Should win. I don't know if I want to touch that one. Zhang, definitely I think he should win as well. But I won't be as surprised if he did lose. So, okay, my strong recommendation out of Hala, out of everybody, I'll just say Zverev and maybe forget everybody else. But if you wanted to do something on the outside, I would not be surprised at all if Zhang won. And I think those odds instead of 1.72 should be more like 1.56 or something like that. That's what I think it should be. Going into the next, definitely Fritz should beat Thompson. What's my tip for Queen's Club? Is it Fritz or is it you, Draper? Just because the odds are high, I might go for you, Draper, and you're absolutely in astounding form. I think injuries are something that can get in your way every so often, Draper. You're fresh as a daisy. I watched 2 of your games. I watched your interview after the game as well today. Very sunny in London, and your home crowd. You're on that buzz. You're on that wave. I think it's going to be you. 1.6. Yeah. I don't think there's any harm in having Fritz and Draper. If I was going to go Fritz, I'd probably have to definitely watch that match and just see his commitment, his form, his health. You know what I mean? If he gets the trainer out or anything like that, then there's a hint that he's maybe, I want to get an out here. I've had enough here. maybe I've got a little twinge and I don't want to wreck myself for Wimbledon type thing. And that could happen to any of these players, to be fair. But that will be my thoughts going into all my fears. So anyway, I hope you found that useful. Please like, subscribe. Daddy Steve, and I'm out.